Commission Cadet Hitchcock to be Second Lieutenant Hitchcock here in a few minutes. It's been a long road. It's been a pleasure being the PMS at USF and having him part of the team. We're going to make this short and sweet, sir. I know you're busy. Sir, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Hughes. You better sit down. I got a lot of material here. First off, to Team Hitchcock that is here, to all of you, thanks very much for being here. Sergeant Major Thetford and I have known Micah for a long time, and it's always really a pleasure, I think, to get to meet the families of those with whom we serve. Because when you begin to talk to them and get to know them a little bit, you get to understand how these people that serve became the soldiers that they are, and they reflect your values. They reflect everything that the experiences they have in your families. And I would just tell you, in this case, I think Mike has done a pretty good job of doing that. He's obviously been a high quality non-commissioned officer here, and then selected now for the officer ranks here. I think is really a tribute to your family here. So, and your presence here today, I think, in such big numbers, I think, is really speaks to that. So let me just thank all of you for that. Jeannie, thank you for organizing all of this. I know that you perpetrated a little bit of a surprise here on Micah. I was actually tracking the surprise here in advance, so even I knew about this. Having just done a surprise party for my wife on her birthday, I know how hard it is to keep things quiet. But I want to thank you as well. We recognize that it isn't just people in uniform that serve. It is also spouses and families and everybody else that supports them. So if I could invite everybody, please give me a big round of applause here for Jeannie and her support. So, and I also, where's Keith and back there, okay. You guys, there's some seats here. You guys are free to come and sit down if you like. So I also know I'm over here in kind of the holy land of paracommandos here, and so Keith, to you and other team members, thanks very much. This is like the third event in 2 weeks that I've been able to kind of come back to SOCOM and kind of touch the magic a little bit here. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that. For all of you, thanks for what you do, what you represent for this command and for our country here. The paracommandos, of course, play a very significant role in helping perpetuate what the military is about, and helping spread the word and making sure that the American public sees the military on a regular basis, which is really, really important to do because we serve at the pleasure of the people. And so it's important for them to see that. So Keith, to you and your team and everyone involved here with that, thanks very much. And to our leaders out here from USF, gentlemen, thank you for being here, incoming and outgoing PMSs out there. Thanks very much for what you do. There are very few jobs in the military that are more important than training leaders. In fact, that really is the key thing that as officer leaders that we principally focus on. It's the most important task we do, is training those that come behind us so they can keep the force strong and ready and resilient for the things that they do. So my thanks to you for your support to Micah, and of course to others in the program that you lead out there. So thanks very much. So Micah, on to you. This is a good day. This is a big deal to move from NCO ranks into officer ranks, and it's you're doing this at a point after you've now served 13 years, so a lot of experience, a good portion of that. 8.5 years in the second Ranger Battalion, the West Coast, the left battalion, as we refer to it. I went for years and didn't even know, I was in first battalion, I didn't even know we had a second battalion. When I came to the regiment, I was like, there's a second battalion, what are you guys talking about? So no, I joke, but seriously, that's a long time. And when you look back over the time that was spent in that organization, I think you can make all the right and logical conclusions here that included a significant amount of time in combat, a significant amount of time deployed, and in service of the nation, and in leading troops in the most difficult positions we've had there. So I think that speaks very, very highly of Micah. Of course, for the last 3 years, or last 3 years, you were over here as the SOCOM Air Ops NCO, as I kind of came back in as the SOCOM commander. After having left JSOC, Micah hooked me up to the machine here and made me do simulated PLFs and all kinds of stuff here. He was really good and very professional about it, and so I enjoyed being able to continue my airborne service here, largely under the leadership of Micah in doing that. So an extraordinarily accomplished soldier here, 9 deployments, demonstrator, jump master, master rated jump master, sniper school graduate, military free fall graduate, master resiliency trainer. So a lot that is packed into this particular individual right here. Of course, I've got a list of humorous accomplishments here. Some of these would make more sense to you guys than they might to me. Furthest squirrel catapult launch across the cemetery. I mean, that's something to be proud of. Furthest zip line assembled by a 16-year-old from a second-story window. That sounds like a really good story. Second largest belcher in the family. I think Shannon offered that one.
Who's the champ?
Most enthusiastic high school mascot.
That's
right.
The Wildcats.
Because you like hugging the cheerleaders.
But seriously here, just putting all that stuff aside, as I mentioned to you, this transition is an important one, and it's a fairly it's not a common one, but it's not a completely uncommon one that we have in the military, where we have soldiers that have grown up through the ranks and become non-commissioned officers, have led troops at the tactical level, make the decision to pursue a commissioning opportunity to earn a commission as an officer. And there is a difference between officer leadership and NCO leadership. NCOs really. Let me just start with officers. Officers really are responsible for providing direction and motivation and inspiration for organizations. They work with higher headquarters. They focus on planning. They try to make sure that the things that organizations are doing fit into the broader scheme of things. And as officers, they have responsibility. Not to say that NCOs don't, but they have legal responsibility for the conduct of the things that their organizations are doing. So with the commission that he earns today, there is a legal obligation here. There's an obligation to the nation. There's an obligation to the forces that you are going to perform at the very, very highest levels in guiding the military organizations that you will find yourself in charge of. So there's a real key aspect of that. Of course, the non-commissioned officer Corps supports that, and they implement that, and they help make those things come true. But it really is the responsibility of officers to provide that broader direction and broader amplification of what the organization is doing. And so we look forward to you taking on those tasks. Micah, I would just simply close by offering you 4 pieces of advice that I offer to everybody when I talk to them in a position like that. And they're pretty simple things, and I'll just try to remind you of them. First and foremost, trust your instincts. You are a very experienced NCO. You have been a very experienced NCO. You've got a lot of combat experience. You know what looks right and what looks wrong. That's instinctual leadership, and you should trust that. It has served you well, and it will continue to serve you well. I would suggest to you, if you didn't have good instincts, you wouldn't be sitting here about to be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army already. So trust your instincts. Second of all, we're about to make you an officer in the United States Army, and that means something. And so you should strive to use your rank for good. As you continue to move up the ranks from second lieutenant to first lieutenant to captain and so on and so forth, each of those is an opportunity to use the rank that is given to you for good, for the good of our soldiers and the good of their families. And that means representing them, advocating for them, helping them, supporting them, making sure that their service is meaningful and positive. Third thing is take care of yourself and your family. You will be a role model to many soldiers. They will look to you as an example of how you balance your personal life with your professional life. don't lose sight of that. You will always be on parade for things like that. People will always be looking to you, particularly service members will always be looking to you like that. So you have a role to emulate with that. Above and beyond that, service as an officer is a demanding one. We expect you serve at the pleasure of the president, and we expect that you will pour everything into this. And by being an officer leader, you do separate yourselves a little bit. You can get a little bit lonely, and so you should rely on your family to help you with that. And don't lose sight of the fact that when all of this is over, when that uniform comes off, it's down to you guys again. Don't lose sight of that. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. And then finally, be a happy leader. And what I mean by being a happy leader is that every one of us that has the responsibility of being in a leadership position, and this is especially true in the officer corps, has the responsibility of making service to the nation a positive and rewarding one for those who choose to serve and their families. And that means that you have to emulate the excitement, the joy that you get from service to your country to help make that a positive experience for everybody else that is coming along with you or behind you in this. And so I would encourage you to be a satisfied leader and be happy with what you're doing. The surest indication that it's time to leave is when you no longer enjoy it. I would presume after 13 years as an enlisted man and a non-commissioned officer and now transitioning into the officer corps that you found something that you enjoy in doing this. And so I would encourage you to share that with others and help them build an enthusiasm for service that you have as well. So with that, I think we're ready to go ahead and make you a second lieutenant in the United States Army. Okay, why don't you step forward? And just for everybody else, I ask you to stand in just a moment. What we're going to do is we're about to administer the oath of office. And the oath of office is very peculiar here in terms of the words that we use. I would ask you to listen to the words that I'm going to ask Micah to state today. As usual, he will bear his faith and allegiance to the Constitution. The only nation in the world that pledges to an idea, not to a specific leader or anything else, to an idea, the idea of America here. It will also emphasize that how he is to discharge his duties and do them well and faithfully to the Constitution. So it's important, I think, to pay attention to the words that are being used today. So, Micah, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Micah Robert Hitchcock,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Army,
being appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Army,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think your dad's going to come up and pin your rank on.
Absolutely.
It's bad when I have trouble. What happened to Velcro?
All right.
Oh, no.
That's like a case of beer right there.
You just wanted to do it again.
You got it. I think I got it. Yeah.
All right. Please have your seats, and I'll turn the floor to Mike.
Well, I just want to take a second. Thank you, General Votel and Sergeant Major, for coming out here today. Fitting that we do it in this building. I think the last time we really got to see each other, I threw out an airplane for one more time. I think maybe in your career, and you know, it was a great experience for myself, and I think it was for you as well. And so thank you for coming and taking the time out of your day to do this today. Great thing for me from a very outstanding Ranger, obviously to do my commissioning, and then you know, just from a profound leader as yourself. So thank you. To my wife Jeannie, 13 years that I've been doing this game, and for the 10 years that we've been together, you know, you've been through all the deployments, and you've been through the phone calls overseas, knowing that, you know, as soon as I hang up, I'm going to go kick down some bad guy's door and chase after him. And you know, through the 5 deployments that we've been through together, you know, it's never been easy, but you've stuck through it, and you know, we are where we are now because of you know, who we are as people together. So thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. Family obviously has always been there for me in the same way. Very well knowing, once again, with those phone calls, what I was doing every night. So thank you for being there and loving me and supporting me. Everybody else, friends, family, you know, team members, obviously you guys have had a huge impact on me in my career growing up, not only as an NCO and moving into the ranks of an officer now, but as a man as well. Keith, you know, you're one of the greatest people that I know that walks this earth, and I've learned a lot from you since the short time that I've known you. And you know, the great things that you do for our country still is a fantastic thing. Lieutenant Colonel Fraley, it's been a pleasure the last 2 years. Learned a lot from your program and from you. You know, as I move into this next step in my career, I'm obviously going to take all those lessons and bring them on to the leadership that I'm about to take forth. So, you know, as I am in a different position than a lot of officers that from my peer group from the last couple of years, coming out of college, 13 years of experience, and 13 years of experience that a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to really have, is really a different thing when you move into being a second lieutenant. So, you know, as far as the Army is concerned, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for those that I'm going to come in contact with, and those that I will be working with moving forward. You know, experience is only as good as if you pass it along to others, everything that you've learned. So I'll absolutely take this opportunity to spread my knowledge and my experience to those who I come in contact with. And as Colonel Ostlin, your former XO, once told me that the job is a lot easier. You only have to do 2 things: take care of your people and accomplish the mission. And absolutely going to take those two things forward with me. Taking care of those who are under me, just like they were my own family. And it's an important aspect, as you said, sir. And then accomplishing the mission, getting done what the U.S. Army or what the United States needs done. And I look forward to this opportunity that I'm going to have. So thank you all for being here, and look forward to keeping you up to date with my career, and as well as keeping up to date with everybody else in their lives. So thanks for all for being here.
So, Gene, why don't you join him, and let's come on by here and shake their hands. Thanks, everybody.